We are back for episode number 100.
We had a vlog drop this past week. We vlogged us going to Atlanta and watching the U.S. men's national team play Portugal.
SGA, if he played for any other team, I would probably hate his guts too. Bottom line is, as far as the MVP conversation goes, like every game that he's not there, like we're like the same juggernaut without him.
Italy not making the World Cup for 3 consecutive World Cups has to be one of the most shocking sports stories in the past 20 years.
About soccer?
Is it started? Wait, I do this thing so I can line up the audio with the video where I go. Right.
Dude, I can't believe I didn't think about doing it on the one.
This is gonna be loud, but this is how I watch this. This is how I line up the audio. That big spike right there, that's right where I line up the audio. It's genius, really. All right, what are we talking about? I freaking hate you. I freaking hate you. I'm done. Starting with.
It's like that guy.
Let's see what we.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the From the Stands podcast. We are back for episode number 100.
We made it.
Yes, 100. We made it to the triple digits, my friends. Yeah, super lit episode coming up for you guys. A little recap of the vlog that we had going up. That technically could have been our 100th episode, but so it was a cool time to drop it right before our 100th. Yeah, Fizzy Boy, give us a little recap of the last 100 episodes. Definitely did not think we would get this far, which I feel like we say all the time, but here we are, man. What, almost 2 years later, kind of doing this almost weekly, so hard to believe.
No, definitely doing better as of late. Like, I think this past year we literally hit almost every week except for 4 of them. So definitely should have been to 100 way before this, but that first year was definitely hit or miss with when we would actually do the podcast. And you think we have technical issues now, dude? Back in the day, I think if you guys go back to the second episode, you can't even hear us.
Yeah,
and we didn't even know that until we were
so jank too.
We were recording with Sam had bought 2, which low key it wasn't the mics, it was just the software we were using.
Yeah.
Those mics were actually legit, but Sam bought a couple mics off of Amazon, and we were recording with GarageBand on our MacBooks and stuff.
Trying to figure out how to connect it all, dude.
Oh my word.
We would splice the audio separately onto the podcast.
Yeah, right before our first episode, we spent 4 hours just trying to figure out how to record the night before, and then we got there and nothing worked, and it took us longer, and it was just it was so stressful back then too, because we would do it right before we had Thursday night soccer.
Yeah.
So we'd have a hard cutoff, even though we were 2 minutes away from where we needed to be. But it was so stressful back then. And then like I said, the second episode, it's up. If you want to go to Spotify and check it out, it's rough.
Dude, I've intentionally not gone back and listened to those because I think I would literally die of cringe.
Oh my word, same here. I haven't listened to it since probably when we recorded it, but we recorded it was a 45-minute episode or something like that. Barely can hear us. We sound like we're underwater. To this day, have no idea what went wrong. Did everything we did for the first one, but there's no intro music, no segment music, cutoffs.
Hey, Ariel.
Yeah. Oh man, might have to put together a little intro from all our clips or something for this episode or whatever. But dude, 100 episodes, man, kind of wild. I remember when we started, I kept seeing statistics, and they were just if you make more than 10 episodes, you're doing better than 80% of podcasts that start. And I was like, all right, and well, we're way past 10 episodes, Sam. So it's been been quite the ride to get to this point too.
For sure.
I would like to say we have it figured out, but it's not it's not quite fully figured out yet.
Yeah, honestly, for me, even though obviously we're not at the viewership and subscriber count that maybe you'd like to see after 100 episodes, it's just a super cool way for me, because I have very opinionated sports takes. It's just a nice
not you.
nice outlet to get my my opinion, whether it be toxic or not, out there to a medium. Even if no one listens to this podcast, it's still a fun thing to do. So it's not bad.
Yeah, it definitely allows me to tap into like my like I'm a very creative person, and like doing like some of the reels and obviously editing the podcast, which is a little less creative because like you have a format that we've kind of like narrowed down up to this point, so it's like just copy and paste for the podcast. But we are kind of dipping our toes in some other formats as well. Like Sammy Boy kind of alluded to, we had a vlog drop this past week. That was fun to edit. Just fun to kind of like put together our day. We vlogged us going to Atlanta and watching the U.S. smash. Oh wow, can't talk. U.S. men's national team play Portugal. Unfortunately, Ronaldo wasn't there, which was like a super like big bummer. That was like
Half
half
the
the
reason we
reason
wanted to go. Yeah.
dude, for real. But putting that vlog together was super fun. So if you're listening to this, go check that vlog out. Yeah, pretty proud of that. Thought it came out pretty good. Obviously, it'll get better as we do more. We want to do some more of the vlogs, like go to some Triumph games. I mean, Charlotte's only like an hour and a half away, so go to some Charlotte soccer games, football games, different things like that. I mean, we freaking missed out on the not championship, but the NCAA tournament being here this year. I think Greenville's
Yeah,
on like a
we'll
4-year rotation for that, so gotta wait 4 more years or something for that. But
I'll
yeah,
be
it's been
32 years old or something.
that's crazy. But yeah, has it been only 2 years? I thought it was 3. I'd have to pull up a calendar
I
and
don't
look
know.
at
I
it.
was just ballparking it there. I was trying to remember when we first. I remember it the best of like in terms of like football years, and I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure our first year was like the year before the Chiefs won their first of the back to back. So that would, or maybe the second, and maybe it has been 3 years. I don't know.
I got it right
Could
here. I'm
probably
gonna look at
easily
the
figure it out by our date stamps on Spotify, but we're too dumb for that.
Yeah, I'm looking up the very first clip we had. It's like one of the funniest ones. I'll actually put it at the beginning of this episode because it's like it's
You
kind
want
of
me
wild because
mocking
it's
you?
like yeah, it was like one of the funniest clips. It wasn't on the podcast. It was like us getting started. And I thought I was like super clever because I was doing like this clap thing to like match up the audio because this was like we tried to record, but we didn't have any software to do like audio and recording together. So we'd have to record
Yeah.
audio and video separately. So I'd like clap to like match it up, and I'm like sitting there looking at Sam like, and obviously you guys will see it, but I was like looking at Sam, I was like, dude, check this out. And Sam just looks at me like, what the heck? You're such an idiot, dude. But I'm trying to
It's
find
like,
that
oh, you
clip that
think
will
you're so
tell us
cool.
after we got married. There it is. There it is. Oh, give me a August 10th, 2023. So 3 years in August.
Wow.
3 whole years
It's
in
crazy.
August. So, dude,
Doesn't
three
feel like it's
years.
been that long, but I guess it
It doesn't
has.
feel that long, but like Sam said, obviously we're not quite where we would like to be with viewership and stuff like that. So if you're listening to this, please like and subscribe on the video. That would help us out a ton. Very quickly, I'll just kind of run us down on what we got going on in this episode. We're gonna take a look back at the Final Four in Champions League. Why? I'm such an idiot. 100 episodes in, I put freaking Champions League in there. Sorry, guys. National Championship recap between Michigan and UConn. Then we'll kind of keep it in college basketball offseason with Mike Malone. Obviously going to UNC out of absolutely nowhere.
Yeah.
Was not even on the radar anywhere, and just all of a sudden I saw this post on Instagram. It was like Mike Malone going to UNC. I was like, all right, cool. They're just getting all these old championship coaches, I guess. And then we'll kind of start moving our way into the NBA. We'll talk some MVP race, which it's like an historic MVP race right now between obviously Luka, Jokic, Wemby, and Shea. Right now, everybody's playing at a very, very high level. Master Weekend is underway with the first round happening today. We'll dive into that, who we want to win, who we'd like to win, who we think's actually going to win, and take a look at the leaderboard after day one. Obviously, Sammy Boy has some thoughts on who's leading right now. Doesn't think he's going to hold on, but we'll dive into that. And then we'll take it over and hop over the pond like we usually do and talk some international soccer, Champions League, and then we will get out of here with the 100th episode. But Sammy boy, I know we kind of talked about it already, but anything new with you? Anything going on? Obviously, life's been changing a lot for us. I think both of us have new jobs.
Yeah,
Crazy.
new job. Yeah, almost coming to the end of my first week at a new job,
Nice.
kind of doing something similar to what I was doing before, but a lot better company, a lot fancier building, that's for sure. Um,
Nice. That's
but yeah, that's
awesome.
kind of the biggest thing that's changed recently. So super excited for that. It's been going really, really well. Other than that, yeah, not too much going on. Obviously, I had the U.S. Portugal game, which has been talked about
That
quite a
was
bit on the
fun.
pod, which was an absolute blast.
Yeah, man.
Super fun to go to that. Yeah, other than that, not too much else going on. Just some house projects, things like that. The
Same
typical
old.
wife dumping a project on you, you know how that goes.
Right.
So no, it's all good. It's all fun. So
Yeah.
nice little garden things. Spring has sprung, so
It has.
we have a nice little project going on at the just the one side of our house with some plants and whatnot. So it's a good time.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
about it.
That's fun. That's fun. Yeah. Yeah, I just switched up jobs as well. Kind of switching to a smaller company, still in construction, so something in that vein. But hopefully, another guy from my church that I'll be working for, know him pretty well. He's actually in my life group, so I know him better than the other guy that I was
Nice.
working for. Really nice guy, super knowledgeable when it comes to construction. So hoping to learn a lot from him. Start that Monday. So looking forward to that. But yeah, again, just had a blast past weekend at the, or is it like weekends ago? It happened so fast. Like we literally went down and went back, and it felt like a fever dream. And I was just like, wow, we were there. Like just
Yeah.
that happened. So,
Yeah,
but
it
no, that
wasn't
was
this past Tuesday, but the one before that.
yeah.
So
So about a week and a half now, or something like that, a little over
yeah.
a week. But
Yeah.
yeah, I got back and my family had gotten in that night, so spent the week with my family, being here. So that was fun. And I had a wedding before that too. So it's been a hectic, busy couple weeks, but finally happy to have life slow down, getting back to the pod regularly. But yeah, we forgive us for having a little bit of a longer intro. Obviously, with a big special episode like this, just had to kind of recap the last 3 years with the pod. Hopefully, many more years doing this together. It's just fun to be able to, like Sammy Boy said, just get some of these takes out, and whether people listen to it or not, it's a good time to just hang out, hang out as bros and talk sports, which is kind of the main reason that we started this. But without further ado, we're going to get into this big episode right after this. If you're anything like me, you love hats, but not just any hats. You want a hat that looks good, but is also made with quality materials as well. And you want it to fit just the way you want it to. That's why we've partnered with Cowboy Revolution Apparel Company to bring you guys hats that do just that. I love my Cowboy Revolution hats. They're rugged and aesthetic. So whether I'm at work or podcasting, I know my hats will hold up and look great. They not only have hats, but a wide variety of apparel and accessories as well. Cowboy Revolution is also a veteran-owned and operated company, so you know where your money is going and you can feel good about it. Get your hats and apparel today at cowboyrevolution.com and use the code FTS15 for 15% off your order, or use the link in the description below. That's FTS15 for 15% off your order today. This past weekend, we said goodbye to another one of the sports for the season. Thankfully, we have the World Cup this summer. Otherwise, it would be a very, very long summer to get through until September when NFL starts rolling around. And obviously, I tune into the playoffs, like the NBA playoffs, but the past few years, just I don't know, been turned off to
You mean you're
the
not
NBA.
locked
Really,
into the WNBA, bro?
dude. Caitlin Clark doesn't even play, so I can't even watch her. So heck
Right.
no. Heck no. Big time trade though. What's her Angel Reese going to Atlanta. Gotta go down and catch a game, I guess.
Oh, really?
Gotta go. Yeah.
I
just
didn't
saw
see
that
at all.
cross my timeline. I was like, huh, interesting. And I
Oh, big
kept scrolling.
WNBA guy over there, I see.
Hey, I'm tapped in, bro. Tapped in. Gotta get a segment on the podcast, man.
Gotta
WNBA
support
talk.
the local ATL team, huh?
That's right. That's right. But anyways, yeah, we say goodbye to college basketball with the tournament coming to a close with the Final Four in the championship game this past Monday. We'll briefly touch on the Final Four because it's been a hot minute, and obviously sports has a little bit of a expiration date on it. But since we didn't get to it, we'll kind of discuss it. We'll start with UConn, Illinois, because this was the most interesting game of the two. It was pretty close in the first half, but then UConn kind of flexed. Illinois kind of, I wouldn't say fell apart, but they showed who they were, as in like, yeah, they can score in bunches, but can't really defend at a high level for 40 minutes. But UConn obviously, um, they stalled Illinois' offense for sure, and that was the biggest reason that they ended up winning. I should probably pull up the score to that game since it's been such a long time. I
I
can't even
felt like
remember
one of
it,
the big
but
reasons they kind of fell behind, especially in that second half. And Joy even actually said this too because she was watching with me. But like so many
Joy
of Illinois,
Analytics, let's go.
not analytics, but like she was just saying that like so many of Illinois' shots were just like unlucky,
Simeone.
like going in and out, or like that one that's like sat on the rim and then like fell
Yeah.
out. And then like so many of UConn's, like they would get like this huge bounce off the rim, go 4 feet in the air and then drop in. So like several possessions like that kind of was not the difference, but like helped them, push ahead a little bit, especially in the second half. And then UConn is so good at kind of holding the lead and doing all the good things down the stretch to hold a lead late and not beat themselves. I think was one of the bigger reasons that they were able to hold on against a pesky Illinois team that they play really, really good as a unit. Obviously, their main guy is the Wagler kid, the freshman.
Yeah.
But I feel like if he's not on, their offense, like,
Doesn't work.
they do enough, but like they don't have that killer dude that can just, take over. Some of the guys have good offensive skill sets, but not a guy you can just be like, all right, he's the clear second option to go to. So
Right. Yeah, true. It's funny that you bring up the whole rim situation. That was kind of a talking point for the whole Final Four. That one side, can't remember which side it was, but like Illinois went cold, UConn went cold in the championship
that
game,
and
which
the
we'll kind of touch
inflation
on.
of basketballs. Did you see
Yeah,
that?
and they were using brand new basketballs. I was listening to another podcast and we were talking about that where like, and if you've played basketball for like any sort of time in your life, you know that a broken in basketball is obviously the best feel. And like you know, once you get a new basketball, it's like, yeah, you got to play with it until it really feels right. Anybody that's played basketball knows that. But the NCAA is just like, yeah, we're pulling these straight out of the box and playing with them in the Final Four. Like, no, that's not what people want. And then, like you said, the overinflation, and then something was going on with that rim, whether true or not. You know, it just seemed like that one side was definitely harder to shoot on than the rest of them. Not saying that's the reason anybody lost games, but you know, when you have multiple games and multiple halves where people are just going cold when they switch to that one side of the court, it's like, I don't know. I don't know. That's something that always crosses my mind. I don't know if it does you, but like when you play a team like somewhere, like when you play someone at home, like how easy would it be for them to just tell like their, I don't know who it would be, like their arena staff to be like, "Hey, just make this one like slightly lower." Like it'll give us advantage. Like we know, but they don't. Like, and
I
that,
mean, I would
I
say
don't know.
pretty easily, but at the same time, like, are you talking about the height or like just the?
Or just anything, like just like make
I
it
feel
just
like
not noticeable, but
usually refs do a pretty good job at like seeing
checking
something
them.
like that and checking them. Or like the other team will notice. Like I don't know if you like it's happened in the NBA a couple times. Like players will literally like see like the slightest of like the rim not being level or something like that. And
Yeah.
they kind of call it out. So I even at the college level, I think those guys are pretty dialed into where they can tell and request it to be rectified or something like that. So I don't know. It's a
Yeah.
good
Yeah.
good
I mean,
question, I guess.
yeah, when you play that much basketball, I guess you will, you know, it's something that you will notice because I
It's
mean, you
like
just play basketball so
when
much.
Steph was bouncing the ball and there's a
That's
dead
what I thought
spot
of. Yeah.
and like he was like, "Man, I know that wasn't my fault. Like it's got to be a dead
Yeah.
spot right here." So he just like bounced
It
the ball
couldn't be
around
me.
there.
It
Yeah.
couldn't be me. Yeah, I mean, I'm so bad. I'll dribble a lopsided basketball and be like, yeah, I just suck at dribbling. It's like, you know. But when you're Steph Curry, it's like, yeah, I couldn't have possibly like misdribbled for sure. Yeah, it's just interesting that was kind of a topic of discussion during the Final Four. But yeah, that was kind of the best game, even though UConn ended up winning by 9 points. The second game, which was not a competition whatsoever, Michigan just could not miss to save their lives. Michigan beats Arizona 91-73. This one was crazy to me. This one, when this happened, I was like, yeah, Michigan's winning it because Arizona has been good all year long. They'd been ranked number one for a while in the season for good reason. They were playing in the Big 12, just steamrolling everybody. Looked like they were going to win a national championship and probably could have. Like if they just caught Michigan on a worse night, I could see them beating Illinois and UConn pretty handily, but ended up having a bad shooting night. Michigan just had a really, really great shooting night. Mara going for 26 with freaking being a 7-footer is just a problem on any team. But yeah, Arizona falls to Michigan. I don't know what your thoughts were on this game. If you just kind of tuned out after the second half like I did.
I honestly did. I saw that
Or
they were up
first half.
pretty big in the first half, and I was just kind of busy doing other things, and saw that Arizona wasn't even making it a game, so I didn't really even watch that much of it, to be honest. So, yeah, honestly, I
Yeah.
kind of tuned out after that. So, it's kind of disappointing because Arizona. A lot of people were talking about Arizona being as dangerous of a one seed as Michigan was. So to see Michigan just beat up on them like that was kind of depressing. But it is what it is. Michigan the better team.
Yeah, it was depressing because this actually on paper was ending up to be like one of the best games of the entire tournament.
Right.
Like I think a lot of people had UConn beating Illinois, like because Illinois was just one of those teams where it's like, yeah, their offense is out of this world, but like when it comes to being a full team, it's not quite there. UConn, obviously better coach. I guess maybe not better players, but just a better team in general. But the Michigan Arizona game was just definitely not what people expected. They expected fireworks. They expected high scoring, but obviously it being just high scoring on one side. Arizona just did not have it at all that night. Good for them making it to the Final Four for the first time in like literally it's like what 20, 30 years or something like that. It's been a long time since Arizona's been to the Final Four. I
Something
don't
like
know the
that.
exact
Yeah.
the exact stat on that. I was seeing all these stupid memes about Bronny and LeBron never making a Final Four and Bryce James in the Final Four. And it was just like the
He.
caption was like something to think about. I was just like, this is so stupid. What are we
Yeah.
doing?
Yeah. Well, wasn't he a red shirt? So he's not even playing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ended
That's
up
funny.
redshirting. What's the cutoff on redshirting? I hear players redshirting and it feels like it's halfway through the season. It's like, all right, I'm
There.
not playing. I
I
guess I'm
have
just
zero clue with what the rules are. I know what they used to be, obviously, but nowadays I feel like anything goes kind of thing. So I have no idea. I want to say that he actually sat out the whole year though, and like didn't
yeah,
play
that's what I
like
thought.
any time at all. But maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, maybe it's like if you play like 0 minutes, you can like redshirt whenever, but as soon as you play some minutes, I just looked it up. An athlete who sits out all competitions for one season, yeah, I get that, but participation currently appearing in a single game, even 1 second renders the students. Yep. So yeah, if you show up at all in a competitive game like an actual in season game, you can't redshirt. So
No,
does that
so
mean
good. So it is
hypothetically
kind
you
of like
can
how it
just
used to be.
redshirt all the way up till like the end of the season as long as you just don't play?
No, you have to
No
sit
for
out for the whole year. I think. I don't know. You
No,
have
but
it in
that's what
front of
I'm
you.
saying. Like say hypothetically someone made it through the whole season and never got game time. Hypothetically.
Oh yeah, I think
Wasn't
so.
planning on redshirting,
Yeah.
but like gets through and they're just like, "Well, I'm never going to play. I'm just going to redshirt now." And like they
Yeah. I
went through the
mean,
whole season.
yeah, I know that it used to be a thing. I'm not sure, like I said, the rules now exactly, but I did just look at Bryce James's stats, and he didn't log 1 minute this year. So,
Yeah, I think he played like a little bit in like I almost said friendly, like an exhibition
exhibition, yeah.
game or something like that. So, but yeah, that's kind of the Final Four. It was the best game was the UConn Illinois game, and even that wasn't even that good of a game. So we'll kind of move on to the championship game where didn't really get much better, unfortunately. UConn kind of played the exact game that they needed to. They were playing super physical, got into a lot of fouls early. Solo Ball played nearly no minutes in the middle of the game just because he was sitting on 3 fouls for the longest time. It kind of played right into UConn's hand. Michigan couldn't make any shots, but on the other end, UConn couldn't make any shots either. Mara just seemed to be too much for Terrence Reed, and kind of just made him a non-factor for the whole game. Michigan ended up coming out on top 69-63. Kind of what were your takeaways from this rock fight of a game?
Yeah, a little bit of an ugly game, I would say, just
Yeah,
overall.
definitely.
Kind of reiterate what you were saying about, Michigan kind of playing into UConn's hands. I feel like on the other side of that as well, though, like Mullins and Caravan they hit some shots, but I feel like they were never able to get into like a flow where they could really get something going,
Mm-hmm.
consistently. They'd make a three or have a good shot here or there, and then, um, you know, going a little bit of a cold streak. Like they just couldn't put it all together at one time, kind of thing. So, which they were able to do against Illinois. I felt like, there's
Mm-hmm.
several times it was just like Caravan three, Mullins three, Caravan again, kind of thing. So,
Yeah.
not getting necessarily the production that they were used to getting, thus far in the tournament. I feel like was one of the big reasons that they weren't quite able to push Michigan to the
Mm-hmm.
end. And yeah, it definitely helps when you got a 7'2" guy to just chuck the ball up to and just tips it in every time. So, um,
Facts.
but yeah, definitely a struggle bus game for UConn overall.
Yeah. And Elliot
What'd you
Cadeau
think
ended
of the
up
free
being,
throw
oh, sorry.
disparity? Everybody was talking about that like ad nauseum.
I don't know. I was rooting for UConn, so I just noticed it because when you have a vested interest, even just being a little bit like rooting for one side, you're like, oh shoot, like call something for us. And there were definitely some times I was like, oh man, they're letting them play, and then they would call some ticky tack stuff. Elliot Cadeau was hunting fouls all game. It was kind of annoying to watch. Unfortunately, he ended up getting MVP for the game or Final Four or whatever it was. Um, and props to him. He played a good game. He definitely played the best out of everybody that was on the floor. But I didn't think the discrepancy in the fouls being called was that much. It definitely wasn't the reason UConn lost or anything like that. Michigan was just a absolute wagon come end of the season. UConn played really well. Like they held Michigan came into the tournament, with the best margin of victory, and then showed that in the tournament they scored 90 points every game except for the championship game. So, like some are saying, they might go down as they will go down as one of the best teams to win a national championship, but being like up there in like top 5, maybe not, but will
Michigan,
definitely be.
dude.
This Michigan team was good, man. It was good.
I
Also,
mean,
they were
it
the
was
first team
good,
in.
but I wouldn't say they're like up there with the greats or anything crazy like that.
Yeah, some people are putting them up there. Obviously, most of those people are probably Michigan fans. They probably got Dave Portnoy just singing their praises on Barstool every
Obviously,
day or
yeah.
something like that. But they are the first team in the transfer portal era to win a national championship, starting 5 uh, portal players. So
Hmm.
transfers is the word I
Well,
was
maybe
looking
that's why
for.
they were so dominant, because they just buy their whole roster.
I mean, but like some of these guys came from like that one guy from Illinois. I can't remember his name. He was the one with like the pigtails in the front. He was just like a role player from Illinois that they picked up, and Dusty May just saw something. They definitely went for size. Like their guards were definitely like a different breed compared to UConn's guards that were a little smaller. So that definitely did not play into UConn's favor for sure. But
Yeah,
yeah, Caravan had like a shot with like 4 minutes left. If that sunk, it would have made it interesting.
for
But was
sure.
not. I mean, the score makes it look like it might have been a closer game than it was, but it really just felt like Michigan come like after the second half. It really just felt like Michigan's game to lose, and they ended up winning it. So props to Michigan on that one. Yeah, it was kind of a lackluster end of the tournament, to be honest. I was kind of disappointed in the championship game. I know a lot of people felt that. You were kind of saying that you felt that too, right? Oh, you just took a
Yeah, a
swig.
little bit.
Bad timing. Bad timing. Taking a swig of your Olipop as I ask you a
Yeah,
question.
I just felt like the final score wasn't necessarily indicative of, it felt like it was not as much of a game. Like 69-63, it looks like it's all back and forth, barely one kind of
Yeah,
thing, but it didn't
right.
really feel that way. But
Yeah,
it is what it is.
definitely. Yeah, definitely. And the game was so lackluster. This is kind of a transition to our next point, but people just found anything and everything to talk about, which some things I agree, but like people were talking about the time of the games. Like people have talked about forever. Why the heck is a national championship game, football or basketball,
Yeah,
on a
they did some
freaking
football
Monday
too.
night and
And
so
late
late?
on a Monday, yeah.
8:50. What kind of time is that?
Yeah. And there was
Like,
nothing that would have there was nothing that conflicted with putting it like either on
no.
a Saturday or like not Saturday because the Final Four I guess was that day. But like why can't we have it on a Friday and then going into like a Sunday? Like that's literally like the perfect time. Like I know
Yeah.
people still have work, but you can easily put that like at 6:30 or 7 o'clock on a Sunday and be done by 10 o'clock, and then you're like good to go. Like I don't
Yeah.
understand why we don't do that. Friday night is perfect for the Final Four, and that's already coming off the back of like a week off from the Elite
Mhm.
Eight, which like I was talking to you off pod. I feel like all of the momentum they do this for football too, the huge gap between the latter rounds of each tournament, like you just lose so much momentum there. Like people forget about it, they move on, they like lose interest kind of thing. Like obviously people are still gonna watch, like you're still interested, there's still good games,
Mhm.
but like so much of the intensity and the excitement kind of wears down. You're like, oh yeah, right, the college championship is tonight kind of thing. And the fact
Yeah.
that it's on a Monday is just so stupid. Like that's the worst day for it to be on, like ever.
For
But
real.
whatever. It is what it is. Don't
Yeah.
put me in charge of anything.
Yeah, I just don't like, in what world does that make them more money? Like in what world, like putting it on a work night on a day that, like, maybe they're thinking, "Oh yeah, Mondays suck, so we're going to spice up Mondays for everybody." It's like it doesn't really
Yeah.
work that way. Especially when you're putting it at like 8:50, and like you and I, like obviously you're in finance now, but you work blue collar as well. Like when you're like blue collar and you got to be to work at 6 in the morning,
Yeah.
staying up until like 11 or 12 at night isn't all
I
that
mean, we got to
fun.
be at work too, just because we're not blue collar. We have stuff to
Yeah,
work.
I mean,
But yeah,
yeah,
I get what you're
yeah.
saying.
But like just the people that gotta be there stupid early, like
Yeah.
I mean, I can get, like, if you have to be to work at like 9 or something like that, it's like, okay, go to bed at 12, wake up at 8, still get 8 hours of sleep. But all those early risers, man, that's just tough, especially if you want to watch. I just don't get why, like you said, it doesn't really conflict with anything. I guess this year would have been like conflicting with the Masters or something, but like that's earlier in the day. Like, so like that gets done. So then you can have, like, on a Friday, like you said, later that night, even at 8:30 would be better. Like
Yeah.
8:50 is just such an odd time to have it. I don't get that timing. But just
Mhm.
like have a week off, it would give some of the players, like Solo Ball was in a boot after the Final Four. The Axel Lindenberg was at, like, he hurt his knee and his ankle. It would just give them time to get healthy, and like it would add to the product of the game, which would make it so more people would watch, because you promised
Are
a better game
Are
in
you talking
theory.
about like
But
the championship being like it would be like this Friday? Like you want
yeah,
another
that's what
week
I'm
after
saying,
the Final Four?
because we do, like, I guess probably because technically they call the championship game as part of the Final Four, technically, right? Is
Yeah.
that kind of how they
Well,
do it?
so I'm not even saying that. I'm saying like backwards the other way. So like from the Elite Eight to the Final Four, they had like almost a week because
Mm-hmm.
like the last games of the Final Four were like what Sunday, and then they didn't have another game until Saturday night, which is the Final Four. I think that they need to put the Final Four games like on Friday night and then have the championship on Sunday. Like I feel like
On
that's
Sunday.
yeah. Like I'm fine with
Yeah.
the 2 or 3 day turnaround there for Final Four versus championship. I just think that they need to scoot that in a little bit because like even Sunday to Friday, which is the difference between Elite Eight to Final Four, is a huge gap. Like you already
Mm-hmm.
kind of get disconnected. But so so you're saying Elite Eight on Sunday, Final Four on what Friday or Saturday, and then another week and then championship? That's insane.
Well, you get like a build up, and I get football's different. You need that week off, and I get basketball's different because you can go back to back, and it's not as strenuous on your body. But I'm just like, we cut everything up into a week, and then you could get some build up. People could get healthy, and it could be on
Yeah,
like a
maybe.
Friday. It could
I
be on
just
a
feel like
Friday night. Like
you
you
would
don't have
lose
to
even
wait.
more momentum that way. But
See,
maybe
I
not.
think it'd be different. I think you'd have like a runway up to it other
So you're
than
thinking more like Super Bowl week type of vibe for the championship.
yeah, I mean, it's big enough and like if it's on like a
It's
Friday,
not
you
that
can
big.
get it all built up, but if it's on a Monday, it's like I mean, yeah, you can have
Maybe.
people over, but it's like who wants to stay at someone's house until 12 on a Monday night? Like, I don't know. Just I don't know. But I think what you're saying
Maybe.
works too, and that's probably the easier fix. Just like put it on a weekend.
Hmm.
Like the final four and everything just end it on a weekend. We don't need it on a Monday. I get what they might be trying to do, but yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know. Just got to
Well,
get the just got to figure it out, NCAA. I know you got a lot of crap to figure out, but we need you to figure out this one specifically. This one specifically. But before we get out of the college basketball realm of things, we're going to touch on some technically off-season news. Transfer portal's open. There's everybody and their mother hopping into it right now. So,
1,200
um,
players in the portal.
yeah, and I think Sam and I would like to formally say that we are entering the portal as well. I have a no contact clause currently. I'm not sure what Sam's doing, but yeah, we would like to formally announce that we are entering the transfer portal as well. So,
Yep.
but all jokes aside, wild news. UNC has a new coach, Mike Malone, out of absolutely nowhere.
Yeah.
Like all the posts and everything I saw, you know, the ones where they like put the percentages for who's going to be the next coach. No Mike Malone. Like it was all Billy Donovan. It was Dusty May. It was even like McCullum from Iowa and stuff like that.
Yeah.
No idea that Mike Malone was on the radar, and then all of a sudden it dropped. I think like the day of the Final Four, like a few hours before the
Yeah.
games, it was like
Something like
Mike
that.
Malone to UNC, and I was just like crazy. But what were your thoughts when you first saw this news drop?
Yeah. I mean, like you said, I'm like out of absolute left field. I had zero clue he was even on their radar. As soon as I saw that pop up on my phone, I was trying to like make any connection I could, like to link Mike Malone to North Carolina, and I couldn't
Mm-hmm.
think of anything then. Like just pulling up his bio really quick. Like, man's is from Queens, New York, went to Loyola, Maryland, never coached basically at all in the in college except for like in the Northeast at some small schools as an assistant. So I was really trying to struggle to find like the connection there. I still don't really know why or how he necessarily got connected there.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think it's a good hire overall. I'm not really sure how. I mean, he's been in the NBA for like 20 years basically, so obviously there's going to be a little bit of some growing pains there as far as getting used to not just college in general, but obviously the world of NIL and just what college is now. But ultimately, I think it's a good hire. I think he's a really, really good coach. Obviously, won an NBA championship not that long ago. So that's really impressive coaching that Denver team that won with Jokic and all of them. I think he brings a decent amount of pedigree as well. So I'll give him a chance. I mean, North Carolina definitely needed a facelift at at the coaching position. They've kind of been used to going with a guy that's basically spent his whole year being a Tar Heel, his whole life being a Tar Heel. So a little bit of a different direction here. I will say I would have liked to see Billy Donovan back in college though at a big
Me
time
too.
program like that after that back to back championship run with Florida. That would have been cool to see him back. Obviously coached my Thunder for a little while before we gave him the boot, but yeah, I guess he'll stay at the Bulls and we'll see what old Mikey Malone is able to do.
Do you think he does well? Like, do you think he does
Yeah.
better than like say like it's just it's very reminiscent of what they did with Belichick. It's like zero connections, yada yada. It's like we got money, come revive us. You need a coaching job, come here. Like,
I
but do
mean,
you think he does well?
yeah, but I don't think that it's quite like but Belichick's kind of washed now. I don't think
Yeah,
Malone is
it's
necessarily
true.
washed. A lot of people thought he was unfairly kicked out of Denver when he was. I think he's proven himself to be a winner. I think a lot of kids will go there just because of the connections he has to the NBA. Um, but as far as like developing players, I'm not exactly sure how well he'll do there yet. I mean, again, he does have college experience, just hasn't been in a long, 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 long time.
Yeah,
But yeah, I think he's going to do well. I think he'll do better than what they've done in years past. Again, I think the level of recruits that they're going to get in there. Obviously, UNC is always UNC, but I think that they'll um just be able to get a little bit more of a step up on maybe some of their competitors that they've had to fend off in recent years.
Yeah. And I feel like Hubert Davis definitely had a rough season because who was their star that got hurt? He hurt his hand and ended up
Caleb Foster? Oh, no.
it was Caleb, wasn't like Caleb not shoot, what was his name? I always get it wrong. It's like
Caleb Wilson, I think his name is, right?
Wilson, I think.
Wilson,
Yeah,
yes.
I think you're right. But yeah, he ended up like their best player, obviously a lottery pick in the NBA draft coming up. Got hurt, didn't play in the tournament. Obviously, the way they lost to VCU was bad too, giving up like a 19-point lead to VCU. That's like that comes down to like coaching and having guys ready. Like, you know, as long as your players are actually giving forth noticeable effort, you have the players to hold on to a 19-point lead against VCU. Granted, VCU did come into the tournament playing very well, yada yada. That's all in the past now. But I feel like to have that kind of season and have that kind of injury, this was the worst possible time for Hubert Davis because it's like you're already on the hot seat, and losing first round in the tournament in that fashion. It was just kind of like writings on the wall at that point. I think he'll get another job somewhere. Obviously, it's not going to be big time, but he's definitely a decent coach. I mean, he took them to a national championship, and was it his first year? Was it his first year that he was with UNC with the Caleb
Yeah, first or
Love?
second. Yeah, it was definitely early on.
Yeah, so I think he's a
Caleb
good
Love
coach,
and
but
Baycott. Baycott's like in Europe now, which I don't
yeah,
know. He's one of those dudes. This
wild.
is why I'm not an NBA GM, because I would have
Yeah,
drafted
right.
Baycott in like the top 10 to 15 picks and been like, this
Yeah,
guy's gonna be a rebounding machine, dude.
right.
Little defense in there. We'll coach him up and be all good. But now he's not even in the
Yeah.
G League. So
No, that type of big is long gone in the NBA. Like, I mean, you had Drew Timmy coming out of Gonzaga, like who
you
was
always
just a
kind of knew he
monster.
wasn't gonna make it though.
Yeah, but he was a monster in college, and it's just like, yeah, this got to translate a little bit. He's dropping like 45 points for the Brooklyn G League, but can't even get a
Brooklyn
can't
G
even get a
Leagues.
can't even get a friggin' bench spot in the NBA at this point. So, yeah, but it'll be
Speaking of that,
interesting to
this
see
is
what Mike
super
Malone
off
does.
the cuff, but like you
No, we
mentioned
love it.
G
We love
League.
it. Yeah,
Um, I saw a thing recently. Is like I feel so
McClung,
bad for Mac McClung because every time he
dude.
plays in the G League, he's putting up
Yes.
40, 10, and 7 or whatever, and then in the
Yeah.
NBA, he can't cut it. Like he's
Can't.
too good for the G League, but he's not good enough to make an NBA roster. So it's just like, where do you even go? But
Yeah. Well, that
tough.
just goes to show you that the G League is also like miles below the NBA, one, but
Yeah.
also college is the best place to get players because like you have all these freshmen that are going to come out, going to be on teams, going to play good minutes. Obviously we have a generational draft coming up, so it's a little different to compare this draft with others. But like for some reason they're just more ready coming out of college than playing all the time in the G League. Now don't get me
Yeah.
wrong, there's some guys coming out of the G League that are like, gems, but it's like you don't find them as much. Like college is definitely the route. And Adam Silver is just kind of
Or the
isolated.
Euro League is actually the
Or
best
the Euro League.
players
That's
to
right.
compare.
That's right. But that's a good little segue because Mac McClung was the MVP of the G League, but we're gonna talk some MVP race in the NBA. It's heating up.
For
You were
sure.
sending me some stuff on Instagram, and I was like,
Yeah, dude.
wow. It's getting crazy. Obviously,
It's
we got a
tight.
4-way race with Luka, Jokic, Wemby, and Shea, each kind of like balling out in a different way. Luka's been dropping 40 points a game. Jokic is averaging what, triple double every night. It's
Yeah.
crazy triple doubles. Their team's playing well. Wemby's Spurs playing well with him on a generational defensive run, and
Mm-hmm.
obviously Shea, the reigning MVP, just kind of doing what he does night in and night out. So, this is kind of our chance to kind of dive into it. I know you're kind of, you know, a little more tapped into this race than I am. Obviously,
A little
Shea,
bit.
OKC, you like your Euro boys and Jokic and Luka, and then we both we both like what Wemby's kind of made of right now. But who
Yeah.
would you have in this race if you had to pick?
Boy, this one's tough. So the
It
thing with
is.
Luca is, they've made this into a horse race, but obviously he pulled his hamstring a few games ago, and he's at 64 games right now. So he has to play
Mm,
one more to be eligible for the awards and everything. And a lot of people don't think that he's going to get there. So despite the fact that he's been averaging 40 points in March, averaging 33.8 points, 7.8 rebounds, and 8.3 assists on the year, doesn't look likely that he's going to be eligible for the award. So we're just going to like kick him out, even though he is my
okay.
favorite player in the NBA right now. Um, thing with Luca is he's deserved it probably a couple times in his career so far. He's just had bad luck. Like, this is such a narrative award, and whatever the media decides to
Mm-hmm.
make it that year, it's kind of what they go with. Um, so let's just put him to the side because he's probably not going to make it with the minimum game requirement, which leads us to the last three. Um, the case for Wembanyama, I think, is twofold. One is, are they going to make this like the year that they decide to really value defense? He's obviously
Right.
averaging 3.1 blocks, which when you're 8 feet tall, you kind of expect that. But still, the presence that he is down low is really really impressive.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously the two-way aspect of it too with him is really impressive. And what he's done with the Spurs, like the turnaround, like they were pushing OKC for that number one seed in the West for much of the season. It does look like my Thunder are going to wrap that up. But just the amount of expected wins that they had at the beginning of the year versus where they are now currently, locking up that number two seed with 60 plus wins is obviously massively impressive. And Victor Wembanyama obviously has a pretty good case for that. Um, Shea, kind of same thing as last year. He's just a points machine, and
Yeah.
the level of efficiency that he scores at is
Crazy.
incredible. He's averaging about 32 points a game, only 4 rebounds, only 6 assists, which aren't like eye popping numbers. But again, it's the scoring, it's the leading the juggernaut that is the Oklahoma City Thunder to the number one seed in the West. That's kind of his biggest thing. And then you got Jokic, who everybody's kind of sick of voting for MVP.
Yeah.
The couple clips I sent you, I think, were a little bit more pro Jokic than anything else. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Mans is averaging 28 points, 13 rebounds, 11 assists, which is absolutely unheard of for a center of his caliber. And Nuggets are sitting at that number three seed right now. But that's kind of the cases for the three. I guess I'll get your 2 cents on it first, and then I'll kind of give my opinion as well. And I'll try to. I feel like a lot of it's going to be reminiscent of a lot of what I said last year, but yeah, we'll go for it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good thing I don't vote on this thing because I would be so emotionally tied to like all this. Like, I can't stand Shea, to be completely honest. It could be media bias for sure. Like, just a lot of the stuff that I see on my timeline is like anti Shea and just like he's ruining basketball, this, that, and the other. I want to say he's ruining basketball, but I definitely like
They
there are
said the
so many
same things
clips out
about
there.
Curry.
They did, but he wasn't foul baiting. Curry can't even get a foul at this point. Like, have you
Curry
seen
can't
those
even stay on the
comparisons?
floor right now.
That's
So
a whole nother comparison because some people are comparing Shea to that 2016 Curry, and it's not even close. I don't
who
even.
is doing that?
Some of
I
these
haven't seen it.
OKC little nobodies
Okay,
on the
okay.
internet right now. But anyways, not a huge fan of Shea, but I can respect that he is scoring and he is efficient, even if half of them's from the free throw line. But that's besides the point. Like you said, Luka's he's hurt. He's probably gonna miss out on the award just based on not not playing enough games with that new rule. I think I really like Victor Wembanyama just based on the fact that like he is a big reason that the Spurs are they're second in the West and they are a team that can win a championship game. But dude, if I would pick Jokic. He's kind of getting to that like that LeBron type of air where it's like, well, we can't give it to him every year, even though he could get it literally, legitimately every year. Like that one year that Joel Embiid won it, and it was
Dude,
like
I will.
clearly Jokic should have won it, but it's just like, well, he can't have three because that just it's like you said, it's such a narrative thing because like as soon as he would have gotten like three in a row, it's like, well, who's
Mhm.
ever had like three in a row? Like you're talking about like some Wilt and
Yeah.
Abdul Jabbar type of like type of
Yeah.
air. So we were like, can't put him in that. It's like, well, if he deserves it. But if I were to pick, I would give it to Jokic. Like I heard someone say the other day, can't remember who it was. It was somebody on like ESPN or something, and they were saying like him leading the league in assists and rebounds is so contradictory to like how basketball is played.
I know.
It just goes to show how good he is. And on top of that, scoring averaging like 30 points a night.
Yeah.
Absolutely insane at his size.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he doesn't care about basketball.
No, he.
Imagine he cared.
Yeah, I think it's funny that people say that he doesn't care because,
He
like,
obviously does, but
I mean, he obviously
it's
does, and
funny.
like the people that they've asked certain teammates, like, why doesn't Jokic care? And they'll tell you that he cares more than anybody. He watches more basketball than like anybody else, which I think is funny. But, yeah, I think I land for the most part, like kind of where you are as well. As much as I love my Thunder, I mean, SGA, bro, if he played for any other team, I would probably hate his guts too. And I get so frustrated with a lot of the seemingly foul baiting that he does and how many of his free throws come from the line. He has this like crazy 20-point scoring streak that he's on, and like he was like super close to breaking it a couple times, like we're to not score 20. And then like dudes were just like giving up layups to like pass to him and try to get in there. I'm like, dude, like it goes against like what the Thunder have always been about, which is kind of sucky. Um
Mm-hmm.
so and he bottom line is, as far as the MVP conversation goes, like, yes, he's an insanely talented scorer, but like you see it every game that he's not there. Like he's missed several games this year, and we're like the same juggernaut without him. Like we're still like blowing out playoff teams by 20 and 30 points. Like
Mm-hmm.
he's our best scorer, but like he's not as valuable to his team as really any of the other three that we've mentioned in the MVP race. So which is kind of the same narrative I took last year. Like obviously I would love for another Thunder player to win the MVP, but like he's just not the most valuable player. And obviously I think one of the main reasons that he won last year is just because kind of what you were saying, like they're just so sick of giving it to the white European fat boy center that is, they're just sick of giving it to him. And like, I do think that kind of what you were saying too about the three in a row and like, do we give him 5 MVPs? I mean, you're going to have almost as many as Jordan at that point, and that's going to bring up some uncomfortable conversations. But at this point, like he's deserving of it. I mean, the dude's a center averaging a triple double for I think his 4th season, at least a second one in a row. So that's why I wouldn't give it to Shea for those reasons. I think it should come down to Wembanyama and Jokic. Wembanyama, he's going to be pretty close to maybe not having eligibility as well. But I just think it's, defense is cool, but like, the other aspects, like you can kind of expect him to get 10 or 11 rebounds a game. Now that it's just a stats thing. I think it's cool that he's elevating the Spurs, but like, again, I just go back to Jokic. If you take him off the Nuggets, I mean, they're a play-in team maybe at best. They do have Jamal Murray, who's a pretty good scorer, and he'd probably come alive. But again, if you're averaging a triple double as a center, he's just doing things that we've never even seen before. Like you said, he should have probably had 5 MVPs in a row at this point if
Yeah.
Joel Embiid wasn't whining and whining to get that one MVP that they that they gave him. And I feel like it's kind of a thing in the NBA community. Is just like everybody knows that Embiid just cried enough to where they're like, okay, dude, here's your MVP. Stop crying. He
Right.
hasn't done a thing since. So, yeah, I definitely give it to Jokic. Again, kind of the same narrative that I kind of built up last year, kind of the same talking points. But it's just kind of funny when you like, I know it's not just a stats driven thing, but like if you just look at the stats and you like had no knowledge about basketball, you'd think like, how is this even like a debate like between Shea
Possible,
and
yeah.
Jokic? So, but yeah, that's kind of where I land with it. I do think what Wembanyama is doing at his age is impressive, but ultimately,
Yeah.
man, I still think Wembanyama or Jokic is the man at the end of the day.
Yeah. I mean, and if you factor in the head-to-head, Jokic is still putting up these numbers against Wembanyama. So,
And one last thing too, I'll say that's a great point, is that Jokic, despite the level that he's at, he still has an extra gear. And you can tell when he plays Wembanyama, like the last time they played, like he's just like, all right, like I'm gonna actually lock in and like
yeah.
show this young blood who's boss. Like he's training those, fall away 3-pointers and just still kind of dominating Wembanyama, even though he's like 6 inches shorter than him.
Yeah.
So, wild.
Absolutely crazy. Yeah. If Jokic had that one MVP that Joel Embiid stole, he would have been in the same conversation as Bill Russell, Will Chamberlain, and Larry Bird.
Yeah.
So that's why
sure.
people are like, I definitely could see why people were just like, yeah, we can't do that, because
And
then
you
it's
could have
like,
given it
well,
to him last
he's in
year.
the
That
GOAT
would have made
conversation now.
5. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's 5 in a row, dude. And that's the thing. He was worthy of it. I think we've beat that horse enough, but definitely worthy of it every season. Like I said, he's kind of getting into that LeBron type of conversation where it's like, you could legitimately just give this to him every year, like without question. But obviously, like you said, it's a media-driven, narrative-driven, story-driven award, unfortunately, and it probably will be this year as well. But yeah, that's kind of the basketball part of the podcast. A little long, but we had some things to recap since we hadn't touched on it, and definitely some fun talking about the MVP race coming up. Next, we're going to talk a little something we don't talk very much, but it is a big time tournament that everybody tunes into. We got the Masters this weekend. We'll dive into that next.
Alrighty, moving on to one of the most beautiful weekends of the entire year, and that is the Masters tournament down in Augusta. Weather could not have turned any better this week for Augusta than it did this week. A nice, cool mid-60s, early low 70s, I should say, days, which is perfect for golf, perfect for the champions down in Augusta. But yeah, we got the Masters going on. Obviously, the festivities from earlier this week. We had the par 3, which is obviously all fun and games with the family and everything. Always love to see the videos that come out of that. Very, very wholesome event, and just the festivities of like the dinner and things like that. Obviously, we had round 1 that concluded today. Little leaderboard action. We got Mr. Sam Burns at the top of the Masters leaderboard right now, tied with Rory McIlroy at just 5 under, which usually I feel like after the first day is a little bit more, maybe about 5 under, but maybe I'm just a casual. I don't know. But some other big names, Mr. Jason Day up there in the top 3 at 3 under. I was like, man, is that Jason Day, the guy that I used to see in like 2012 up in the top 10s? Shane Lowry not too far behind at -2. Justin Rose, Scotty Scheffler, Xander Schauffele all tied for 6th place at 2 under. Tommy Fleetwood in 10th there. Yeah, some other scrubs below that I won't really mention. One of the big time guys that a lot of the preview stuff I was seeing where they were saying as one of the bigger contenders this year, Mr. John Rahm at +6. Absolutely abysmal day for Mr. Rahm. I feel like it's always one way or the other. Like he's either in contention, top 5, or he's just, I mean, bottom quarter of the players just having an awful day, breaking clubs and whatnot. So, but what is your I guess your 2 cents on the festivities so far, and obviously the first day of the Masters tournament here?
Yeah, this is only really the second year that I've actually been into the Masters. Obviously,
which is wild.
My dad would have it on. I literally did not care about golf until I hit like 24. I was like, oh, I should probably get into a sport that I'll actually be able to play until I'm, 87 or something like that. I don't know, because soccer and basketball is not going to last too much longer here. It's already a downhill slope with those sports. But yeah, just being able to like actually care about the Masters is such a fun thing because it's a whole weekend thing. It's such a big event in sports. Yeah, my 2 cents is kind of like, I didn't see Rory playing this well right away. Because kind of sometimes you have that slump after you really get the big one and you're just like, it's almost like a not care attitude, but I think that's helping him now because he was in an interview on ESPN after his round today, and he kind of alluded to like feeling more free now that he's gotten the monkey off his back, per se, to be able to just go out there and play his game and not really care. Like, a bad shot is not the end of the world, because it's not like, the Grand Slam and getting that Masters win is slipping away. It's like, no, I already got it. Like, I can just go out and try to put together the best round I can, and I don't have to freak out when I hit a bad shot or whatever. So it's like, you can see him playing with that freedom, and that might help him out more than people kind of realized. Obviously, still got 3 more days to go. A lot can happen. Obviously, the first goal is just to make the cut. But yeah, props to Rory. I mean, he would definitely be the top of the leaderboard if Sam Burns didn't have that one eagle on the day, which really helped him out. But good for Sam Burns. He's kind of been one of those guys that's been, slowly getting better and better and better. He's been in contention, a lot of top tens. I feel like, again, I don't follow the sport that closely, so don't take my word on that. But I'm right there with you with Jason Day. Like, I remember back in the day, like, I mean, he was number 1 in the world for a little bit there back in the day. So
Yeah, I just
hopefully he
remember when
can
I
put
was
together a good
like
tournament.
early teens, like I had zero interest in golf, but we had the golf channel, so like sometimes on my way to watching soccer or whatever else, like the channel would land on golf. And I remember I would
Mm-hmm.
always see like Jay Day in the top 5, like almost every
The
time.
Aussie,
So like
yeah.
even my casual self, like what minimal I knew about golf, like I knew that Day was pretty good back in the day.
Hey, um,
So
but you alluded to this, and I think it's totally accurate. It's kind of like the opposite of John Rahm, like what you said. But Scheffler, even though he's tied for 6, like, as long as he's just lurking, he's always a threat.
right.
Like, again, the complete opposite of John Rahm. It's like either John Rahm's at the top of the leaderboard and he never moves, or he's like down there with everybody else. But Scheffler sitting in 6, like, obviously you want to end the day, probably like top, like better, like top 5 or something like that. But him sitting right there, man, it's still
Yeah.
he's just lurking, man. He's still lurking. Is he the favorite to win it? I haven't even looked up
I
who
mean,
kind of is the
probably,
favorite.
but yeah, over the last year or so, for whatever reason, I think like at least the tournaments that I followed him in, which is most of the ones he plays at, like he will oftentimes have like a really bad Thursday where he's just like, at least for his standards, he's kind of like middle of the pack, just kind of hanging around, even par, like maybe +1, 1 under, something like that. And then he just like locks in Friday, Saturday, Sunday. A lot of times it'll get him a win. Sometimes it won't be quite enough where he still just like lands in the top 5 or 10 or something like that. Whereas like if he would have had a normal Thursday, like he would have won by several strokes. So the fact
Mm-hmm.
that he's hanging around there at 5th, 6th, 7th, somewhere in there, after the first day, I think is going to be hugely beneficial for him. He's probably going to be feeling good about where he's at after the first day, and he can, like we've seen so many times, he can really turn it on, especially Saturday going into Sunday.
Yeah, for sure. I just looked up the favorites to win. Obviously, it's Scotty. Surprise, surprise. But then John
Obviously,
Rahm was right there, right behind him, followed by
that's what I'm
DeChambeau, and
saying,
then
dude.
then Rory. But doesn't look too good for John Rahm.
I
What's the
don't,
cut line? Again, we're totally showing our
I don't know.
naivety to this freaking sport, but that's the first goal, is just to get that cut line.
Yeah, obviously I told you this off pod, but I think Rory is going to fall off a little bit. Maybe not necessarily tomorrow, but Saturday into Sunday. I think once a choker, always a choker. I really
Oof.
don't understand the hype behind this man, dude. Like he has 5 majors in what, 20 years since he started doing this. And like everybody always hypes him every year because he didn't have the career Grand Slam, which is impressive, but he's not even in like the top 10 or 15 of wins all time. And he's had Tiger to like kind of battle, but like most of the time Tiger's been out of commission with injuries or just doing flipping cars or whatever else. So he's kind of had a clear a clear path to being a legend if he would just not be a choker. But so many times he'd lose to people he really shouldn't be losing to. So I really don't understand the hype behind this man. Yeah, it's cool he finally got his Masters championship last year, but I'm just not impressed by him.
Yeah, you're definitely a downer when it comes to Rory. I don't even like him, but I just
Dude,
think
he's
that
a whiner too. Like
just not
before,
having that.
oh
Yeah.
my goodness, dude. Like always someone else's fault. Always yapping at people in the crowd for not being quiet enough. Just every time it's something else. Oh, the ground's a little too wet today. I can't play golf. Like, bruh, shut up.
Oh, yeah. Tell me how you really feel, Sam. Jeepers. Poor Rory's just out here trying to live his life, and Sam's coming
No,
at
but for
him.
real though, like he's not even top 15 in wins. Like he has 5 majors, which is like not that impressive. Like Tiger and like these all-time greats, they're in like at least 10 or in the teens of majors all time. Like why are we hyping this guy so much? Is it because he's in the top 5 or 10 a lot and doesn't quite win? Like I like legitimately tell me as like a golf casual that I am, like why is this guy so like hyped?
Yeah. I don't know. He was just that prodigy that everybody knew about. He's kind of touted as like the next Tiger, you know, being so good so young, coming out of Northern Ireland, being good so fast, and then obviously kind of plateauing there.
I think
And then
it's more
chasing the
impressive what Phil Mickelson was able to do in the late like 2000s, early like 10s, like having to fight Tiger all the time that he won, I think it's 7 majors, which is by the way more than Rory, than what Rory's done in his whole career.
Yeah, I mean, Mickelson was supposed to play this week, but obviously had to step out. Oh,
Yeah, I saw that.
family stuff going on or something like that. Not flipping cars like Tiger did, which is a whole nother discussion. Tiger had a fun weekend when we were in Atlanta as well.
And he
So
was supposed to
um,
play allegedly. Ah,
he was allegedly supposed to play. He was gearing up for the Masters, and then he didn't hurt himself. Didn't hurt himself at all. But obviously, you know, Augusta's pretty tight with who they let there and kind of how they want to portray their their course and everything. It's kind of like this mystique behind Augusta and
he's a
like
former
having
champ,
that.
so if he wanted to play, I think they would have had to let him. But I'm sure that there was some backdoor
There's
like,
some
hey
there's
man,
some
please.
conversations probably had for sure. And I feel
Yeah.
like Tiger probably respects golf
Yeah.
enough to be like, yeah, this would probably shed a bad light on the Masters, and there's probably, you know, probably doesn't want that kind of attention. Like that's all that people would be talking about, whether he's playing good or bad, would be him flipping his car that weekend. But
Yeah.
kind of speaking in that vein of like the mystique of Augusta and just like the tradition there, kind of letting go of that a little bit with ESPN bringing in some
A
characters
little bit,
to
man. A little
come.
bit.
And thankfully it's not like the actual tournament. It was like the par three tournament that they had where, you know, obviously the players bring out their families and different things like that, and it's kind of more of a lighthearted thing, but a lot of flack on the internet for like people like Jason Kelsey and Kevin Hart being there and kind of in a sense over almost being like a mockery to everything going on. And I personally felt that way. I'm one where like obviously I love that, you know, people can get into golf. I like YouTube golf where it's the other side of golf where it's less formal, more not more fun, but just definitely less formal. But I do believe in like keeping the, I guess you'd say, the sacredness of like golf, like the tradition that's like, you know, been going on for a long time, especially at Augusta. I think going away from that would definitely be a mistake, especially on ESPN's part. I don't know how much Augusta's in on this. Obviously, they have to allow it, but
Mm-hmm.
after this week, I'm not sure they're going to really dive into that side of golf as much as people thought they probably should. But what did you think of all the different things going on this past few days, I guess?
Yeah, obviously didn't like it at all. For those of you who don't know, I'm like a huge history slash traditional kind of like
Mhm.
person, or not traditional, but like I just enjoy things that are deeply rooted in tradition, which I think is why I like the Masters so much.
Yeah.
Even like if you have zero interest in golf, like just the it's kind of like the Kentucky Derby, just like all the
Mm.
hundreds decades of years of doing the same thing over and over again, and the price is not changing at the at the concession stands, and like no one's allowed to bring a camera for the tournament, and just like little things like that just make it so special. And I think if even if it's not necessarily like you're not changing a ton about like the actual tournament itself, like Thursday through Sunday, I think it still matters like what you do before that as well. I think ESPN has a lot to do with this, and a lot of people think that ESPN is kind of the reason for like everything they do, they just ruin it. And it's kind of hard to see, like it's easy to see why people say that when they're out here doing stuff like this. Like I love Pat McAfee. Like I used to listen to him literally every day, but like Pat McAfee probably should not be on a Masters golf course acting like Pat McAfee. Like Jason
No.
Kelsey shouldn't be out there just like acting crazy. I know he didn't take his shirt off, but probably wanted to. Kevin Hart shouldn't be
Mm-hmm.
out there scuffing a drive like right into the pond. Yeah, it just doesn't do anything for me. And ESPN's all about these personalities now that they think that they can, um, you know, they think is going to bring viewership. But when you tune into the Masters, you don't want to see, Kevin Hart shanking a drive right into a pond or anything like
Yeah.
that. You want to see some of the other stuff that's going on, like the wholesome moments of the family members of the golfers, or maybe just some other cool features that they usually do so well, but obviously they kind of pivoted in a different direction. I think it's interesting you bring up YouTube golf. I think that's also a reason why they're trying to push more towards this. I think they see the popularity of stuff like YouTube golf. I think some of the stuff the YouTube golf stuff do is like kind of stupid and kind of childish.
Mm-hmm.
But I think there is more of like, hey, this is like kind of hype right now or viral. Like, let's see what kind of stuff like that we can bring into like maybe the earlier days of a tournament like this. But I definitely think that like out of all tournaments, I think the Masters is the last place you want to see that kind of stuff going on. So yeah, definitely didn't like it too much. I think the mystique and the just the specialness of Augusta should be kept right where it is. So
Yeah, I agree. Like the stuff that they did is definitely something you could see on like a PGA event, like other than like the Masters, like at a major or something like that. Like
hmm
that's just not the place for it. Like do it somewhere else. Like I mean, like the PGA is opening up to like the YouTube side of golf, which I think can coexist. It's just the PGA side gets greedy and they're just like, well, we need to be like the only type of golf that people actually enjoy. But I mean, they added like a good championship, like where Good's like the sponsor of a actual PGA tour event, which that's kind of crossing into the YouTube space a little bit in a classy way, I guess. But yeah, I mean,
I
I
feel
get they're
bad for
trying to.
the PGA people because I feel like without them asking, like there's all these people that want to infringe on their sport now. Like you got the Saudis buying up half their players and creating
Yeah.
all that racket. And then there's the YouTube golf people that are telling them, hey, you got to change this and do that and make a space for me. And there's like the whole, I don't even remember his name, but he was just like all butthurt because he actually got invited to a PGA event and then he couldn't bring all of his camera and his clownery. So he's like, well, I'm not going to go anymore. So there's like those people like making it awkward for the PGA. And it's just like they didn't like ask for any of that. They just want like their sport to be like it's always been. And there's all these people that are trying to like change it and like tear it down. And I feel bad for like the person who has to coach all that and like basically regulate it all and try to find a happy medium where everybody's happy. But I'm just glad I'm not in his shoes.
Yeah, that's definitely a tough place to be for sure. But regardless of all the different things going on in the previous days, happy to watch and enjoy the rest of the tournament as the weekend continues. Nothing's changed with that yet, and hopefully it doesn't ever change for that. Because I'm definitely in the boat where it's like, yeah, I'm sure you want to cater to some of the younger crowd and stuff like that with the YouTube golf and letting some of these other characters in, but it's like I don't know, maybe just teach tradition and teach the kids to like enjoy something for how it is. It doesn't have to cater to you for you to enjoy it. Like this
Correct.
is how it is. You either like it or you don't, and that's
Yeah.
okay. Like
And
I don't
like
know.
I think like especially with this, well, the Saudis just kind of like stole stuff, but like with the YouTube golf guys, like you should be happy, like if they invite you in, like you should be happy that you're there first of all,
Yeah.
and then like kind of be respectful, and then like maybe if you want to change things or like maybe respectfully like suggest certain things that could be changed, like to make the sport, because the sport, it is kind of an old person's sport. It's kind of like baseball, like the demographic is older. So like you definitely need to bring in a younger crowd, which I think YouTube golf, like just everybody involved with that has done for sure. But I just feel like, especially at the beginning, there used to be like a respect, so that like a lot of the older demographic like are a little bit more, you know, I guess happier to bring you in and like teach you about the sanctity of the sport, let's say.
Yeah.
So as when they want to like, bring in a camera crew or like suggest different tournament, whatever, or stuff like that, they're more receptive to that than just like, hey, let us in, let me change everything that you guys have done for 80 years. Like that's just
Yeah.
not the vibe.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we agree on that point for sure. And it's all right to have things different. Not everything has to blend together. You can have
The
your thing
Masters,
over
though,
here. We
we're
can
not
have our
touching
thing
that,
over here.
boys.
We're not touching that. Some things are just national monuments. Never tear it down. Never change. Keep it in the time capsule that it is. I hope to goodness one day I can go to it. I think that would be so much fun. To go to it.
There's
Vlog
several
that with
people
some
from my
meta
new job
glasses.
that are going down on Saturday. So
Yeah. Taylor, I was watching it today and she's like, oh yeah, there's a couple of my students there. I was like,
students. So they're
yeah.
like
I was like,
10-year-olds down there.
yeah, mommy and daddy took him to
That's crazy.
Augusta.
One
I was
of the
like,
guys in our youth group who's a senior this year, he just went for Sunday. I forget how he got tickets, but I was like, oh, so you're just like in the area? It's like, no, like I was there, like I went and I saw Rory like knock in the last one to win. I was like, oh, that's
okay.
insane.
Oh, so you went to the practice run? No.
Yeah.
Championship Sunday,
Exactly.
but oh man, yeah. Hopefully one day we can go to that. Just got to get the podcast up. Just got to get it up so we can do that. Yeah.
Right. Last thing too, I was like, just my dumb brain, like I immediately I was like, dude, do you have pictures? Like, I really like. Do you have? It's like, no, there's no cameras.
Right.
I was like, oh
Yeah.
right, duh. Like I'm stupid. Like I knew
Which
that.
I low key think is awesome.
I do too.
Be there and enjoy. Just enjoy. Don't whip your phone out. Don't
Totally
video
agree.
it. Like, just enjoy. And like,
But it was just like
that's awesome.
second nature for me to be like, oh, so you have pictures, like whatever. But then I was like, oh right, like.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree. I don't think they should ever change that either.
That's also coming from me, an iPad kid who literally watches YouTube in the shower. So it's like, I'm sitting here like, yeah, no phones. I'm like, I could definitely have more of that in my life. My wife would be the first one to tell you, but
dude, there's just so much more aura like in a picture where everybody's either cheering or watching you sink a putt than there is with like everyone and their mother in the background having a phone out.
Yeah, like, watching it through a screen while you're there.
Yeah. It's just pathetic.
But I am old, but I'm also in the generation of technology, so I sound kind of hypocritical talking like this. But at the same time, I remember the good old days when you had your iPod, your flip phone, and your freaking digital camera, and your rolled up headphones in your wallet. Yep. That right pocket, or no, was it the left pocket? The memes are all about like the left pocket, like an elite left pocket or whatever.
Yep.
It's like all these different things. Yeah, those are the good old days when technology was in that sweet spot. That's right. That's right. Technology was in this sweet spot for a while, and those were the good old days. But with that being said, looking forward to enjoying the rest of the Masters this weekend. Hopefully some of these bigger names can have a better showing come the second and even the third and fourth day. But we will be tuned into that, and we'll talk Masters next week on the next pod. But with that being said, we're going to hop over the pond right after this.
Alrighty, hopping over the pond as we usually do. We're going to go back a little ways just to the international break, just because we haven't had a pod in a little while. And then we had U.S.-Portugal vlog, which, by the way, go blow that up. Blow that video up. Can't even talk, apparently. But we're going to talk about
go blow the video up. That's tough.
Yeah, we're going to talk about a couple of the other games going on just because they were super, super important. And kind of rounding out the last few teams that we needed for the World Cup participation this summer here in the States, which, by the way, we can't say hopping over the pond anymore when we talk World Cup, but that's beside the point.
That's true.
First game we'll
in our
talk
backyard
about
now.
is my Romanian boys, unfortunately losing 1-0 to the Turkish team over there. Pretty good game, back and forth. We're hanging on for quite a while there. Had our chances. Turkey get I wouldn't say a scrappy goal. It was a nice little cross in the box, completely unmarked, by the way. Our right back was definitely supposed to pick that brother up, but just a complete broken coverage on the back end there. Easy pass and shoot there for them. We had our chances late too. We had a brutal post that came shockingly close to going in, but
So
ultimately didn't
unlucky.
go in. And then Turkey kind of just parked the bus after that. And Romania out of World Cup qualification, have not been to a World Cup since 1994. Very, very sad. I've never witnessed a World Cup in my entire lifetime, despite being in the playoffs several times. But it is what it is. Turkey get through. Very, very sad news. I will mention here. Probably not going to be too notable for all you casuals out there, but the Romanian coach, his name is Mircea Lucescu, passed away just days after our loss to Turkey. We actually had another friendly game against Slovakia a couple days later. He had a heart attack right before that game. Was unable to coach. Was in the hospital for several days. And I think it was Tuesday, I want to say, tragically passed away. He was 80 years old, but an absolute legend of the game. Pele actually asked for his shirt back in the 70s when Romania was playing Brazil in a World Cup. Behind Sir Alex Ferguson and Pep Guardiola, he has won the most trophies of any coach of any country around the world. So obviously a very, very good coach. Kind of been around the game a really, really long time. Coached some really, really big teams. Shakhtar Donetsk is the biggest one. Everybody kind of links him with because he was there the longest. Kind of made them a juggernaut. In the Ukrainian League, won the Europa League in 2009, which was incredibly impressive. Been several other different places and also had success there. Coached the Turkish national team. Galatasaray coached there for a little while. Dynamo Kiev. So he's been mainly in Eastern Europe for the most part, but coached some big time names and just a legend of the sport. Several games over the weekend, kind of paying their respects to him. The Champions League games all had a moment of silence for him at the beginning of the game. Real Madrid posting that they're sad to see him go as well. So just an absolute legend of the game, kind of an icon in Romania. Everybody's just kind of a country that's sad that he's gone. So even though he's 80 years old, he died doing what he loved. So very, very sad stuff there. I don't know. You probably didn't even know about this guy. If you're not kind of a diehard, you don't necessarily know about him. And even if you are a diehard, like he spent most of his career, like, yeah, he did some good stuff in the European competitions, but most of his time was spent in Eastern Europe, kind of coaching Turkish, Ukrainian, and also Romanian teams as well. So, any thoughts about that or anything, or about the Romania loss to Turkey? I know you're not necessarily dialed in, but I was texting you throughout the game, and I think maybe you were watching a little bit in the second half.
Yeah, I was tuned in while I was at work. Definitely more invested in the second half for sure. I'm like that with any sport. Like the second half, fourth quarter, all these different things. Like that's when the game really starts heating up if it's close. But
Yeah.
dude, I saw the one that glanced off the post like inch to the right, and on that rounded post, it's going in.
Oh,
And
dude.
that would have tied the game, and who knows what would have happened after that. Maybe you guys still lose, but you definitely would have made it more interesting near the end of the game if you were all tied up. But unfortunately, taking that L to Turkey, Turkey ends up in our group. You guys would have been in our group if you guys had won, which would have been lit. We would have probably sold a kidney
I
or something to try to
would
get
have
to
had
that
to,
game. That
dude.
would have been crazy.
In SoFi too. That would have been
Yeah.
insane.
Talk about a
But
vlog. That would have been lit.
oh yeah,
West
that would have
Coast
been lit.
vlog to go watch U.S. men's national team World Cup game against
Yeah.
Romania. Like,
Would have had to
numbies
drop
would
a
have been.
cool 2,500 on tickets, but it is what it is.
Yeah, and then not to mention the extra $8,000 just to get out there, stay in a hotel, eat food.
Yeah.
Heck, you know what? It would have been a great vlog. We would have just slept in our cars and just
We
just
probably
to
would have
make it
driven
there.
out there, screw a flight. Like we don't got money for that, dude.
How long of a drive is that? It's got to be like a 28-hour drive or something like that. Something stupid.
Like that, dude.
It's gotta that's longer. It's got to be longer.
33 hours.
Oh, definitely would have had to break that bad boy up, but
nah, man, straight through.
Hey, maybe we still might. Maybe we still might. You don't know. Know.
Well, Romania's out, so I ain't doing that for U.S. versus Turkey. Sorry about it.
You'd do it if you would do it if it meant the podcast would blow up. So
maybe. Anyway,
oh my gosh,
I'm just kidding.
fake, kicking him off.
Yeah, Turkey should have beat us by several more goals. Just
they got a good team.
The pedigree that they have on their team, they probably should have comfortably beat us. But they're gonna be spicy in the U.S.'s group. That is for sure. But before we get that far, have another big time team that will not be going to a World Cup for the third time in a row. Italy is the team that we're talking about. They were able to get past Northern Ireland pretty handily, which I think we talked about before we had a little bit of a hiatus here. Had Bosnia next, we knew was gonna be pesky, but still backed them to get through. I mean, all the pressure was on Italy, obviously, but you'd think that they'd be able to pull that one out. Looked pretty good early on. Moise Kean put in a goal early, go up 1-0. Bastoni getting a untimely red card just before half, which was kind of the turning point in this one, where they kind of had to pack the box and kind of try to hold on to a lead. They had a couple of chances in the second half that they weren't able to convert. Big props to Bosnia, just keeping all the pressure on them, able to get a goal finally in the 80th minute, about 10 minutes before full time. Went through a full 30 minutes of extra time. Italy had a couple more chances, but again, they're just trying to pack the box, trying to hold on. Obviously, Bosnia having all the possession, all the chances. End up going to penalties, and we actually come to you live on the vlog about our reaction.
Yeah.
Which was kind of crazy because there's another dude there that was also watching, and he was like, "Dude, are you guys watching Italy?" I was like, "Yeah." I was like, right after the first missed pen, but ultimately Bosnia prevail 4-1 on penalties to send Italy out for the third successive World Cup. And like I still can't believe that's like a thing. I know we're like kind of used to Italy not being in the World Cup.
Yeah.
Just because they've done it 2 other times. But I like I told you, like several times throughout the day when we were at the game, I was like, it's now 3 World Cups without a team like Italy in the World Cup, which is just insane. Because, like, to me at least, like, there's 3 teams really that are at the top of international soccer. There's Brazil, there's Germany, and then there's Italy right there with 4 World Cups. So I think it's absolutely insane that, I mean, a whole generation now of Italian players, of Italian fans have never seen Italy in a World Cup, let alone competing for it. Had that random 2020 Euro victory, which is kind of a little bit random in there, but just wild stuff for an Italian team that, again, is just really, really struggling just to get to a tournament is insane.
Yeah, like Donnaruma's been playing since starting for Italy since he was like 16 and still hasn't been to a World Cup.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, dude, Italy not making the World Cup for 3 consecutive World Cups has to be one of the most shocking sports stories in the past like 20 years. Like, that's how big this is. Like, I know it'll just like kind of get brushed over some like casual fans, but like you said, an absolute giant in international soccer is not going to the World Cup. Not 1, not 2, but 3 of the past World Cup. Like, absolutely insane. And yeah, you mentioned like just had like some freak Euro tournament win to keep England from winning their first major trophy in like forever. That just decides to be bad, like just out of nowhere, where it's like, oh yeah, we're the best team in the world, and then they missed that World Cup and continued to miss them. But yeah, just absolutely just shocking, man. And like they did well to get it to pens, and you thought there, you're just like, certainly, Like with Donnarumma in goal, like obviously Pens are a bit lucky. It's anybody's, like usually if you're the worst team, you want to try to get it to Pens because you have a better chance. Like it's just
Mhm.
like at that level, everybody can take a good pen. But you just think Italy got Donnarumma, they got better penalty kick takers, and then I think I called it. It's not on the vlog, but I think I called it. I literally looked at you. It was like this, the first Italy taker. I was like, he's skying it, and he did put it
Well,
over the bar and set him back.
I was confused about their like the guys that they had taking and where they were taking. Like Esposito
Yeah,
was the first taker, and he's like, I mean, he's a fine player, but he's like, and he's just technically a striker, but like I wouldn't have him taking the first pen. Obviously,
yeah. You
Sky's
need a
it. And then
sure
like Tonali,
one.
which was probably should have taken the first one. He slots his, but then Cristante was the third taker, and he's like a defensive, like I guess he's midfield. He plays a little bit more center back, I guess, for Italy at times. But like I was just like, what? Like the selection was like super weird for me. And big props to Bosnia. Slotting all four of theirs, no problem. So
Yeah,
um, yeah, just insane. That Italy's is now not going to a third successive World Cup. And a lot of people want to find reasons and everything. And obviously, Italy was, a juggernaut basically up until the early 2010s. And Serie A was like the best league in the world for most of the 90s, early 2000s. But since then, like obviously, huge lack of investment. AC Milan and Inter Milan not being good for most of the 2010s really, really hurt not just those clubs, but the league as well. And lack of investment in the academies and everything. It's all kind of coming to a head here. So, yeah, I'm really curious to see what Italy is going to do going forward. I will just leave it at this. I think I want to say it was Cannavaro, which was a player that was really good in the early 2000s for Italy. Apparently, he came out in like 2009 or 10 with basically a prediction that like basically Italian football was going to go to crap within like 10 or
oh
15
really?
years, and he had like a 90-page like basically a book on like how he would make Italian football better, and everybody laughed at him at the time. It was like, oh, that would never happen, blah blah
Uh-huh.
blah. And here we are, like 15 years
Yeah,
later.
a
Three
prophet.
successive no World Cups. Serie A kind of not in shambles necessarily, but not necessarily one of the best leagues in the world by far, like they were in the early 2000s. So maybe they should hit that man up and see what he has to say nowadays. But
Save Italian football, my bro. Like,
yeah,
dude,
yeah, for
need ya.
sure. Couple other notable games going on. Sweden beating Poland to go to the World Cup behind Gyökeres
So
carrying
nice.
against both in both games, I should say, um, to get Sweden to another World Cup. Turkey beating Kosovo 1-0. Obviously, we kind of prefaced that by saying that they're already in the U.S.'s group, but again, not a convincing win by Turkey, but hey, they're at the World Cup, so
No,
that's all that matters. I think that they're still a dangerous team to look out for this summer. And then Czechia beating Denmark to go through as well. Czechia always kind of
that's big.
another a team that could make some noise. So, any opinion about it? Any of these teams going through?
Yeah, just a couple. Poland losing, not make the World Cup's really sad because it marks Lewandowski's end to his international career.
Yep.
Not getting one last World Cup with him in it is sad. But obviously, you're gonna have stories like this. Not everybody can get in, and when you're a smaller, quote unquote, smaller nation, smaller footballing nation, it's like these things will happen. But just a sad story in general to see him not make a World Cup in what was his last season playing for Poland. Obviously, he's kind of like on the downhill of his career, not only in international football but club as well. It'll be interesting to see what the next few years hold for him. And then Denmark missing out is a little surprising to me. I know Czechia is usually pretty good, but Denmark's one of those teams that you think of being in the World Cup, doing well in the Euros and stuff like that, but not seeing them is definitely a bit shocking. And then my last thing with Turkey is like obviously in our group. They've got to be the favorites to come out of it, right? It's us as in U.S. men's national
I
team,
mean, we're going to
Turkey,
be the betting
Paraguay,
favorites
and
because.
Australia. Yeah, but after what we saw in Atlanta, dude, I don't know, man. Doesn't look great. Not
Yeah.
that Turkey's a Portugal, but They
I
got players as
I know we
well.
don't really have
So
the time to dive into this, but obviously we have plenty of time before the World Cup to dive in. But we got to talk sometime about how bad the United States looks going into this
yeah,
World Cup. Obviously, saw
true.
the game live. Really not being in either one of the games that we
Yeah, that
had
weekend was
on
bad.
against real teams, finally scheduled real teams, which the Federation seems terrified to be doing. Maybe this is why, because they know we're not, anywhere
Yeah.
close
I
to where
mean,
we
our
should
only
be.
hope is that like in the games, it was kind of like it was a mix of like B team, A team in each
Yeah.
half.
Hmm.
Like you could say like, okay, yeah, we don't, and we didn't have like Tyler Adams there. Serginho Dest is hurt currently, not sure if he's going to make the World Cup. So we have some players that will make a bit of a difference, but like at the same
But
time, it's like
but at
better
the same
showing,
time,
hopefully.
Portugal basically rolled out a B squad for their game as well, and still were
Exactly.
kind of running circles. I think the one of the only players that I knew from the A team that was starting was Vitinha, and he came out at
Mm-hmm.
like 45. So, um, yeah, I think we had more A players out there than they did. I'll put it that way.
Yep, yeah, definitely. Any way you slice it, it just does not look good for us. And our only tune-up games, I think we play. It might be like Japan and then Senegal, like right before the World Cup in Charlotte. But like these are the two that were really going to show us like where we stacked up, and it's not looking good. And like you said, we have plenty more time leading up to the World Cup to really dive into that. But if we get grouped,
Oof.
man, if we get grouped, the federation's gonna burn. Like there's gonna be some like we thought 2018 was bad, but like after going through this golden generation, we have like maybe one more World Cup with these, yeah, quote unquote golden generation players. Like like I don't know, there's gonna be some even harder conversations than we had in 2018 if like we're literally in the same spot other than like the fact that we missed that World Cup. But we didn't even have to qualify for this World Cup. Thank goodness. But it's like we're gonna like where have we come since 2018? To be completely fair, what have we done?
Yeah,
Nothing.
I mean we're not even
That's what.
dominating CONCACAF anymore. Gold Cup and Nations League is both over at Mexico right now. So I don't know, man. But it is pretty crazy that our
Tough.
golden generation, quote unquote, like I mean your starters are Crystal Palace, Fulham, what, Sebastian Borhalt, Leeds United. Like we do have some
Yeah.
some good players on like Juventus and AC Milan and things like that, but I don't know.
But like you've banged this drum for a while. Our best player right now is Weston McKennie.
Yeah, absolutely.
Christian
I
Pulisic's all in his feels about
double
his
and triple
girlfriend
down
breaking up
on
with him.
that. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, I did see that.
Yeah. Pulisic's out here. I saw a meme today, and it was like the headline of it was the New York Post had that headline where it was like Christian Pulisic was on a dating app before he broke up with his girlfriend. Yeah, yada. It's like, are we becoming a proper footballing nation with
That's
all this
hilarious.
with all this drama in the media with our players? It's like, no, we're not. But that was funny. It made me chuckle a little bit. But
Yeah.
we're far from being a proper footballing nation.
Yeah. Well, we have the Senegal and then we also have Germany as tune-up games.
Germany.
So
That'll be a good tune-up game. I forgot about
Senegal and
that one.
Charlotte, by the way. Little vlog
Oh, little
2.0.
vlog action coming out. Let's
Hey.
go. Let's go. I'm there
um
for it. That one's closer too.
that'd probably be a little bit cheaper than the one we
That's true.
dropped,
But
but
anyways, moving on.
anyway, moving on. That'll be more in-depth conversation for a different time. I'm going to touch on Arsenal just for a second, just because not only are
Absolutely.
they my team, but I feel like they're the most relevant news that we had coming out of the international break to present. Not a great couple weeks for my Arsenal. We caught a lot of heat for Mr. Arteta deciding to bring back like basically every player from international break early due to quote unquote injury, which very obviously they were not actually injured because like 2 days later our beautiful social media team had a clips of training and everybody was like there training like full speed. Anyways, um we did have a couple big games, which like if you're in Arteta's shoes, you kind of understand why he did that. We had Man City in the Carabao Cup final. And then Southampton, obviously, after that as well in the FA Cup quarterfinals. And then Sporting, one after the other. Arsenal, Man City, not the result we wanted. A little 2-0 L, I should say.
Big
Man
L,
City
take it.
kind of taking it to us. They came out with a really nice 4-man press that Kepa just could not keep up with. Don't really know why he was starting this game. Obviously, he's kind of the go-to as far as the domestic cups goes. He was kind of the goalkeeper of choice for FA Cup and Carabao Cup games, but he just could not hang with playing out of the back. Man City made us look absolutely pathetic. I mean, we were turning the ball over an hour and a half, like left and right. Kepa couldn't keep up, like I said. Yeah, just never. I mean, Man City just looked levels above us, just from start all the way to the end. Just kind of a pep masterclass. Don't really have much else to say about that one. Obviously, came into the game with a trophy on the line, and Mikel Arteta once again came in unprepared. And just didn't seem like he had his team ready for what Man City was going to give us. Obviously, Man City's not the Man City of old, but they're still a team that can come in and just dominate you, on basically any given game. So, and Pep was going to always have those guys ready to go and have a little bit of something different that Arsenal hadn't seen this year. He's kind of given everybody else the blueprint, I guess, for kind of breaking us down. Obviously, we did play with Kepa out of the back, but like we played basically a full strength 11 here, obviously with a trophy on the line. So just exposing us at the back, especially, was one of my main concerns. And again, we fall short in a cup final. Did you watch the Carabao Cup final here?
I saw the highlights and different things like that. I saw that Kepa did not have a very good game, and it was kind of like, why are we playing Kepa in an opportunity to? I mean, you're still holding on to some treble hopes there, weren't you? Like, get that
Quadruple,
one.
people were saying, dude.
True, true. Yeah, like, I mean, you're holding on to that. Like, why are we playing Kepa? Like, Kepa's fine as a backup, but he's proven that he's not quite
Especially
there as a starter. So I don't
especially when
know.
you're reverting back to a starting 11 for basically every other position, like,
Yeah,
get Raya back in there. And I do think
absolutely.
that I said earlier that was post international break. That was actually the game right before international break. So as we were going into international break, we had lost that game. So I just wanted to clarify my thoughts there. But first game after international break, FA Cup quarterfinals against another championship side. Arsenal have had the most Mickey Mouse FA Cup schedule of all time, playing the likes of Portsmouth and Wigan, and I'm blanking on the other championship side. We had Mansfield Town. So those are the teams we've had to play in the FA Cup, and still can't get to the freaking final of that. Losing to Southampton 2-1. Again, they're a championship side, good side, but like I said, Man City kind of showed the blueprint for getting behind our back line. They again pressed us really, really high the whole game. They didn't really have much of the ball. We technically had probably, I would guess, 60 to 65% possession, but they were still able to get us on a couple counters. Really good goals by them as far as quality and everything. Gyökeres did score for us in the second half, but 85th minute winner by old Shea Charles over there, who was giving us some meme material after the game. Unfortunately, was ultimately the nail in the coffin for my Gunners. So that's two games in a row where we were talking about quadruple just a few weeks ago, and now we're down to two competition: Champions League and Prem.
That's tough. Yeah, that's really tough. But I would rather be in your position than Chelsea right now, because I
Always
mean,
goes back to Chelsea.
we're freaking suspending our own players because they're trying to sell themselves to Real Madrid right now. So
Yeah, Enzo,
that's where
dude.
we're at. Yeah, that's where we're at. But
So
I just
funny,
needed to touch
dog.
on that real quick because it was frustrating. But yeah, Arsenal really got Champions League and Premier League left. You're pretty solidly in first in the Premier League, so that one's a
I
little
mean,
harder to bottle, right? Right?
so I was talking about this with my buddies from Romania, who's also an Arsenal fan, and we were just kind of basically hating on Arteta and how he's, like, this is where he starts to crumble. Even
Yeah,
though technically he crumbles earlier than this usually, but in the
that's
Prem
fair.
too, like, Man City have a game in hand, and we still play Man City. So, like, let's say hypothetically they win their game in hand and then beat us. That's three
Mm-hmm.
points right there, dude. And I mean, Arsenal could be dropping more points. I mean, you never know. So
you're saying there's a chance?
I mean, there's definitely a chance based on how we're playing right now. A game I
Can't
haven't
leave the
touched on
door
yet is the
open.
Champions League game, Arsenal Sporting. We played not great. Obviously, got a 91st minute winner. Kind of a breakdown in the back line by Sporting, but not a super entertaining game at all by both sides. But again, just not playing, up to where we need to. And I think it's a mental thing. Like I don't really know what's going on in the psyche of those Arsenal players right now, but it can't be high. And with Man City nipping at your heels, you never know in the league. So you'd think that 9 points is enough right now, but given the things that we still have to come, like you never know. We still got to play Champions League ball, which Man City don't have to deal with. So
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's tough. But barely made it out of Sporting, which was a bit of a shocker.
yeah.
I know Sporting's a good side. Like they're always good in Portugal. They're always that smaller club that definitely they got some players. Like they got Trincao.
Yeah.
There's a couple other players that I remembered from like other bigger clubs that kind of couldn't hack it, but we're still really good players. Still have the skill. But yeah,
Technically, they
hopefully
have
Arsenal
Luis
can just kind of
Suarez
hold
up
on to the
top.
end of the season. Yeah, I saw that. I was like, Luis Suarez, what the frick? What are you doing? What are you doing in
Yeah.
Portugal, bro? Obviously not the same one. I
Yep.
knew that, but when I heard it, it made you like, I was just like, what the? Did I hear that right? Luis Suarez is there. But yeah, very interesting for your Arsenal, and let's see if you guys can hold on to the end of the season. Just gotta get there. It's coming to an
Yeah.
end, but a
Yeah.
few more
Yeah.
games
I'll leave
left.
my weekly Arteta rant for next week. But me and my
Next
buddy
pod. All right.
from Romania were definitely, um, you know, not
We need to get that buddy
not
on
the
the
most.
pod. What are we doing?
Yeah.
I
Right.
need to hear this. I need to hear
Yeah.
this
But
conversation.
yeah. He just needs to figure it out for sure. Did you see
Definitely.
that's the last thing I'll say on Arteta. Did you see the
You're good.
clips of Arsenal training? With
No,
with
I
the
didn't.
with the okay, it's not going to be as funny then if you hadn't seen it. But basically, they had the ball. Like there was 4 players, and they had the ball between their heads, and they were just like moving around with it. And then they like
Oh, I did.
brought in
Yeah.
pens, and like they had to hold the pens while they were like passing a ball around or whatever.
Oh my
And this
word.
was like fresh off. This was before the Sporting game, so this is fresh off the Man City and Southampton L's, and it's like this is what we're doing in training right now. Like, bruh.
We're gonna beat Sporting with the power of friendship.
We're literally like such a meme of a club right now.
Powerpuff
It's
Girls.
ridiculous.
Oh my gosh.
But
That's so
anyway,
funny.
moving on. Champions League, we already talked about Arsenal Sporting, so we'll put that one on the back burner. Really great games. The other 3 ties we got going on. First one we'll talk about Madrid Bayern. Battle of the heavyweights, battle of the 2 teams that I believe are the biggest in the world, as far as history, pedigree, all that. Madrid losing to Bayern, 2-1, going down 2-0 actually in this game, able to get one back through a Kylian Mbappe back post goal, but Bayern really just imposing their will on this one. Real Madrid just really never able to really this whole season find like a groove, find a mojo. Obviously kind of been hampered by injuries, players in and out of the lineup all year. Played a good game overall against Bayern. This was really back and forth, but like I said, Bayern able to impose their will. Michael Olise doing whatever he wanted to Carreras on that right side. Harry Kane doing Harry Kane things as well. Bayern looked pretty comfortable. I know that Madrid got one late, but for the most of the game they were up 2-0. Most of the second half as well. And like I said, that's an away win for them, so they're going back to Munich with an advantage and everything to kind of play for as far as the comfortability in this tie. So good stuff by them.
Yeah, Bayern was definitely the better team on the day. Obviously, not only when you just look at the score sheet, you also just look at the game as a whole. Kind of like what you alluded to, they just dominated the game from start to finish, especially coming out of the second half. Scored their 2 goals really fast, coming out of the break, and didn't really look back. Thankfully, Real Madrid was able to get that 1 goal to make it interesting going to Bayern. But yeah, Bayern's got to be the favorites to win the whole thing at this point, especially after this first leg. I don't see how you don't look at them and say, I mean, they got to be right up there with PSG. Obviously, they had a good showing as well, which we'll get to. But Harry Kane having a great season. He seems to, like, with age, just get better and better and better.
Yeah.
Can just do so
Poor
many
guy
things
was
as a
in jail over at Spurs for his whole
I know.
career.
Just sometimes loyalty is just not the way to go. Sometimes you just gotta move on to bigger and better things, and he has. And looking like he might get a Champions League finally, which would be cool to see. But I was talking off pod right before the podcast. Elise has got to be one of my favorite players to watch right now. He's got flashes of like Arjen Robben, like on that right hand side, always cutting in. But I was saying he's definitely way more dynamic, has more to his game, so he can actually like slash through and like get into the box and finish that way. Where Arjen Robben was like, "All right, I'm getting to my left foot. Doesn't matter what you're doing, and I'm putting this in the top corner." Both really fun to watch, but I really like watching Elise. He's still like a true winger, where it's like I'm gonna take you on. It's not get to the end line and cross. Get to the end line and cross. Kind of like for Chelsea, Neto on the left side. That's all he does. It's like get through ball, end line, cross. And so it's just nice to see that we still have players that are creative, want to go at players, want to create things. And he's one of those players that's still left, and I really enjoy watching him. Even not that big of a Bayern fan, but we'll definitely watch because he's there and just so dominant in a league where it's like, yeah, it's not quite France, but it's like it is the Bundesliga, and it's like, sure, you have to play Dortmund in the league, and like you have like a year where Leverkusen's really good, or some other team out of nowhere is really good, but then it's really just them and Dortmund most of the time, and it's like they're just so
Yeah.
dominant on an international scale. It's like it doesn't matter what their competition is, they're just always going to be good. So props to them. It'll be a good second leg in Germany coming up.
Yeah, I think it definitely helps playing in a league that's a little bit more inferior, like a Ligue 1 or something like that, where you can kind of tinker with your squad. You can also rest guys and kind of just focus on, the European competition. I think the tinkering with the squad is probably the most important part, where like you kind of know you have that wiggle room where you can kind of play guys in different positions or try this or that, to see what kind
That's
of
true.
is going to be able to work against some bigger teams as well. So again, the rest factor I think is a big thing as well. Whereas some of um, the English clubs, I mean they've two domestic cups, the Prem, which is week in week out, like it's just it's a lot harder. So but yeah, those are good points for sure. Moving on to Atletico Madrid and Barcelona. A little note on Atletico Madrid here. Their last three games, they've played Real Madrid, Barcelona, and then Barcelona again. So, Real Madrid, that game, they actually lost 3-2 after leading. Real Madrid getting a red card in that one. Their most recent league game against Barcelona, Barcelona winning 2-1 there after Atletico Madrid had a lead and Atletico Madrid had a red card. And then this Champions League quarterfinal here, this first leg, Atletico Madrid finally winning 2-0 with Barcelona getting the red card in this one as well. So some crazy games as of late for Atletico Madrid. They actually have a Spanish Cup final to look forward to. So a little bit of silverware on the table for them, and then also looking really good in the Champions League. Obviously, Barcelona coming in as pretty heavy favorites to get through on this one, starting the first leg at home. Pau Cubarsí getting a red card pretty early, stopping a counterattack. He probably thought he was, at least it wasn't a penalty. He got a red card, but at least it wasn't a penalty. But
Nah, bro.
Atleti just banging that thing, top bins
That was
there,
good.
Mr. Julian Alvarez. He always comes to play
Yeah.
against Barcelona for some reason. Always seems to find himself on the score sheet, but
Yeah.
getting a second in the second half was huge. Their big striker up top, Sorloth, getting one in the 70th minute as well to kind of solidify that lead, and also going into the second leg with no Pau Cubarsí for Barcelona. Getting a little nervous over there, Barca boy.
Yeah, definitely. Because especially we're going back to Atleti.
Yep, exactly. You're about to see the
Yeah.
nastiest park the bus job you've ever seen in your life
Well,
over at
that's my
Atleti,
whole thing. I
dude.
was gonna kind of talk about is like Simeone ball. They are always punching above their weight. like whether they have a good team, bad team, they just play in a way that is like, hey, we suck, so we're just gonna. But it's not. It's just how they play, and so they have the players that it works with, and they can churn out results like this. Obviously, in the league, they haven't been having the best success this season. But in the Champions League, like in a tournament setting, Simeone ball just all like seems to work. Like they always make decent runs. And again, they are a big club when it comes to not international soccer, club soccer. They are a big club in that respect. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm not sitting here saying they're like this is like Crystal Palace making a run in the Champions League or something. But just the way they play, it's such a nullifier. Even if the other team is a lot better and has better players, just you know shutting down the creativity and then just hitting teams on the counter once they get frustrated and they push too high or press too high. It's like, that's just a recipe for success, whether you're good, bad, or kind of equal. But yeah, definitely nervous going into the second leg. 2-0 is not like a giant mountain to climb, but like you said, with them parking the bus, it's
Got to get one
definitely going to
early.
be a tall task. Yeah. That's the goal and everything. Just got to get one early, and then that opens up the game, makes it interesting. But yeah, losing Kubarsi is going to be not great either. So
Who's even
be a
your
good
backup
time.
center back that you could rely on?
I'm gonna say Arahu or whatever. That guy
Oh,
that took a
Araujo, yeah.
yeah, I think he's the backup now because he took that some time off and now he's back and whatever. I don't know where his
Yeah, he
head's
was
at,
starting
but
not that long ago, but
yeah, he was starting. Then he had some. I guess I shouldn't make fun of him. He had some like mental issues going on, like some stuff like that, and so he
this
took some
guy
time off. And then
making fun of
I
mental
know, I'm
health over
sorry,
here. This
I'm
guy.
gonna get canceled now. Just got us flagged, but but yeah, no, definitely nervous to put a bow on it. Definitely nervous for the second leg.
Yeah. Last game we'll touch on also ended in 2-0 PSG Liverpool. PSG showing why they are the defending champs. I feel like they were a little bit shaky at the beginning of this Champions League campaign, and even in France, honestly. I think Lens were ahead of them in the league for a little while, but this game just showed perfectly why they are the defending champs and why they were so dominant at the end of last year. Liverpool didn't register a shot on goal, which is absolutely insane.
That's nuts.
Yeah, Desiree Doué, early goal in the 11th minute. Kvaratskhelia with a really nice curler in the second half as well
He's so
to
good.
give them a nice, yeah, he is nice, comfortable 2-0 advantage. Dominating the ball, 75% possession. Just not. I mean, they were treating these boys like they were some relegation battling sides from France, for sure. So Liverpool just have. I mean, this is not their year at all. They might squeak in at a fifth place in the Prem now because they recently they said that the coefficients are locked in where the Prem is going to get that fifth place Champions League spot. So they might get in that way, but overall, it's just been a dismal year for Liverpool after spending so much money in the summer. Slot thinking he's too big for his britches, just kind of rotating the entire squad.
Spoken like a true Arsenal fan.
Not really. I mean, just speaking facts, honestly. Um, just not being able to have a great year with Liverpool, unfortunately.
Yeah, very weird year for Liverpool coming off that league win last year where you really thought like, it was to the moon with Slot. So I guess I do agree with that sentiment that you said.
I
But
mean, y'all
like I
should be
said,
hoping for that because they're fighting you guys for that fifth spot, dude.
yeah. Love being in a it's
Oh
better than
wait,
being
you guys
Tottenham.
want to go to the conference league again, so you can play all the village teams and get a European trophy.
European trophy. Yeah, well, it's better than being a
Still more than
Tottenham
us.
fan.
Yeah, it's true.
Better than being Tottenham right now, so we'll just leave it at that. That's just the ultimate like, well, you could be Tottenham. But uh anyways, yeah, like I said, Bayern and PSG got to be the favorites. Real Madrid would be one of the favorites other than the fact that they're playing Bayern. So it's really who do they play after this? Like how's the bracket layout? I should have
It'll
probably looked
be
that up.
Arsenal and Atletico if results hold, and then PSG and Bayern.
Dang, man, we don't get a Bayern PSG. Man, that kind of sucks. Like Dang.
Everybody's gonna say that that's the real
That's
the
gonna be the
real
real
finals.
one.
PSG
Yeah, it's gonna be the
Bayern.
real final, and it really is. Like, not saying Arsenal can't win it, but like you gotta Bayern and PSG will definitely be the two best teams left, and they'll
What
go
about
head to head.
Atleti? You're not giving them a shout either?
No, absolutely not. Nope.
I honestly think Atleti could beat Arsenal in the semis if we make
Yeah.
it. But
Yeah. And this is why Simeone still has a job, because he'll have a year like this. It's like, well, I got to a Champions League final. What are you gonna do about it? Like,
imagine
you
this
know,
is the. I mean, he's been to 2 Champions League finals and always gets beat by Madrid.
hasn't got it done.
So imagine this is the year they finally do it. We're getting
Yeah,
way out of left field
true.
now, but
We are.
you know.
PSG Liverpool. Good showing by PSG. Obviously, they are class reigning champions. Have a really good chance to do it again. But yeah, Liverpool. I don't know if that was it's so weird to say. I don't know if that was a great test for PSG, because Liverpool just has not been good as of late. So it's probably a little bit PSG, or a lot of it PSG being really good, and a little bit Liverpool just being as poor as they've been in the past few months now. It has not looked good for them, but yeah, shaping up to be a really, really good Champions League, especially that next semis. Is it semis? I always get this wrong.
Yeah.
It's quarters then semis, right?
Yeah.
In my brain, I always said quarters, because it's like quarterfinals. Like, I don't know. For some reason, I thought that was, but I'm just dumb. So here we are, and we have a sports.
You just want to say Elite Eight too much.
I do, because I
Elite
definitely counted. And I was like, oh, this is a good Elite Eight we got going.
2,
on
4,
here.
6. Okay, yeah, Elite Eight.
Maybe if we did that, we would have more people in the U.S. watch it. That's what we got to do, because apparently that's what that's what American fans like. Just become one of our sports,
more American,
and we'll care about you.
Yeah,
we'll care about you. Yeah,
right.
Make the goals worth 7, and we'll pay attention to it. Like, no.
Yeah, it's so true.
It's so stupid.
So
they're worth
true.
1, just like your touchdowns. Like, you want us to do that? You want us
if
to
you
do
get
that?
fouled
really
after and
now.
you score, it should be an and 1.
Yeah, seriously. Make outside the box a 3-pointer. No! No! This is why we hate it. That's why we don't let you into the club, because you just want to change the club once you're in. You don't want to be a part of it. You want to change it. This is why we gatekeep. This is why we don't let everybody in. This is why we gatekeep, because you don't deserve it. It's perfect. Back to the Masters conversation. Perfect the way it is. Don't touch it. Leave it alone. But anyways, we just got way out of left field. But PSG and Bayern should be a good game. But I think that's pod, Sammy.
That is a pod.
We appreciate you guys for tuning in for the 100th episode. I jokingly call it the 100th edition of the podcast. That kind of sounded kind of cool with the Masters going on. I think that's what they say, the something edition. It's like the 90th edition of the Masters so far. I looked that up earlier. But we appreciate you guys for tuning in and listening. If you guys have listened since the first episode, you guys are the real ones. Please like and subscribe on the video if you've gotten this far. Share this with your friends. Share it wherever you want to share it. That would help us out. Get some more subscribers, some more people following along on the podcast, and go blow up the vlog that we just put out. A little different content from us. We enjoyed doing it. Hope to do some more. And also go follow and rate on Apple and Spotify. But until the next one, we appreciate you guys, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace.